aboardy. Welcome aboardy. Doing a little Clone Trooper armor Q&A. So I just got dressed up in my fancy dancy armor, shooting some little short transition videos, and I figured I'd jump on here and see if anybody has any cues that I can answer. So if you guys have any questions about my 501st armor or my 332nd armor, let me know. This is what we're talking here. We're talking clones. We're talking clone armor. We're doing this all for the Republic. So this is a set of armor that I built myself probably about 3 years ago now. I think it's about 3 years ago now. So I've been a clone for about 3 years. This is an ABS plastic kit. So the armor with the belt's rubber, the helmet is resin cast, but this is an ABS plastic kit. So it's not 3D printed, much lighter than 3D printed stuff, and I believe it's really going to be a whole lot more durable than 3D printed stuff. Nothing against 3D printed stuff. Yeah, if you're doing a full set of armor though, it's really probably easier, better to try to pull it off with an ABS plastic kit. It's about the same price, ultimately, a whole hell of a lot less sanding and prep work, and it's gonna last longer. You don't have issues with heat. You know, this is not gonna melt if I leave it in my car, just how it is. What's up, Cold King? Doing some question and answer on my clone armor. So if you've got any questions about this, let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. Probably the most asked question is how much did this cost? And it was probably about $1,500 for me to put it together myself. I do full clone commissions, but those things will cost, you know, more than $2,000 typically because I got to get paid for my work as well. But yeah, these things are very expensive. And somebody asked today on one of my videos, when's the next cosplay coming? And I'm working on it. I've got a TK that I'm working on, but they literally take months to do. I'm learning kind of how to build the TK while I build the TK, and they're expensive. You know, I've got undersuits I've got to buy, I've got boots I got to buy, extra gloves I got to buy. So these things are very expensive, which is why most of the people that I know in the 501st are grown-ass adults because they got grown-ass adult money that they can spend on this kind of stuff. So yeah, I know going into this that they will be expensive. But again, I built this probably 3 years ago, and it's still in very, very good condition. So it's an investment, but it's an investment that pays off. Every Halloween is covered from now until eternity for me. So I've got a couple different helmets that I did for this because you can get this with a little change. You can have 2 approved clones. So yes, I did make this Life with Lincoln. This suit is from Star Wars, so it's the prequel Clone Troopers. These were the guys that fought with the Jedis. So yes, I did make this. I've got a full build video playlist for all of the costumes I've done. I've got a 501st, I got a Cody, got a Mandalorian, and you can kind of look at the playlist to see how I did it. But yes, I built this myself. Hi, Riley Smith. Riley Smith, welcome aboard. So yeah, this is what we've got. For the Republic. Whew. Yo, Life of Lincoln. I have also watched all of the Star Wars movies, as you can imagine, and all of the Star Wars shows. I've read a lot of the Star Wars books. I played all the Star Wars games. I've played a lot of those things. What's up, California? About as far away in this country from me as you can be. I'm in the Gulf Coast of Alabama, really kind of right on the Florida border. So welcome from, I guess I'm calling you from the future. I'm calling you right now from the future because it's 10:48 here. I can tell you what's happening in the world if you want to know. Calling from the future. Yeah, so there's a lot of really good Star Wars television. There's a lot of really bad Star Wars television. Start with Andor. I think you'd really like that. It's a grown-up show. Rebels, the cartoon, is incredible. It's like 4 seasons. Really good stuff in that. But yeah, the Star Wars shows are worth watching. Mandalorian's pretty good as well too. So, questions about the armor, let me know. Let me know. So this blaster. No, I don't do Captain America. I've got a Commander Cody that I've got. He's actually on the mannequin behind me there. I don't like the clone skirts, the Thomas. So I've just never really been interested in doing a Captain Rex. But this is just a standard 501st Trooper right here. Just a standard grunt. The guys that raided the temple with Anakin. So yes, that's that. One of these things takes me approximately 8 weeks to build, and then probably about 5-10 minutes I'm going to go ahead and take this all off so you'll kind of see how everything is strapped up. Platinum Lex, no, this is not 3D printed. This is PLA, so it's a vacuum formed, or sorry, ABS plastic. It's vacuum formed ABS plastic, so it's sheets of plastic that they form over the shell. It's much lighter than 3D printed. Much more durable, better all around. I got this kit, so it's kind of like a model kit you put together. I got it from a company called 850 Armor Works. They're out of Pensacola. It's, you know, friends of mine right down the street. You can check them out. They've got clone armor, stormtrooper armor, death trooper armor, Mandalorian armor. I think they've got some Halo armor. They got all kinds of armor in there. But no, this is not 3D printed. This is ABS plastic. The helmet, this helmet is a resin cast. And then the 332nd helmet is a 3D print from Galactic Armor. Who's my favorite Star Wars character? I think it's going to be R2. I just love the droids, man. I really, really love the droids. In my mind, droids are the humanity of the Star Wars universe, ironically. You know, the non-human, flesh and blood are the most, human. R2 is probably my favorite. I love Chopper. I love a droid in every single series. Yes, I do have Mandalorian armor. I've got a full Din Djarin Mando. This costume here is 501st approved, so I'm in the 501st Legion with it. My Din Djarin, my Mando, is not, but I like him. Let me see. This helmet right over here. That's not good. We lost the lights. Din. This is the way. Yeah, I've got the full armor, but it's in one of my totes right now. Sith or a Jedi? Probably not either. Hold on one second. I feel like there's big problems with both the Sith and the Jedi. Too pragmatic, too dogmatic. Probably go Sith if I had to, but I don't know. I would probably be a Jedi that is no longer a Jedi if I were in the Star Wars universe. Trying to do one of my favorite helmet combinations here. Helmet armor combinations. And this one came apart. And he's not cooperating. Build the helmet and you can't get it on. There we go. My lid came off. Anyway, I was going to do that, but no. Be a Sith. Yeah, I think a Sith would be more fun. But again, both of them just seem to be too caught up in their dogma. I feel like there were problems with the Jedi. And that's what led to their downfall. But, that's just me. That is just me. All right, so I'll put this back over here, and then we're going to start to take all of this off so you can kind of see how it is all harnessed in here. You'd be surprised at how little harnessing is involved. And I've also worn this at baseball middle of the summer for 2 hours out in there, and it was, you know, your lack of faith is disturbing. 2 hours in the sun, and I've managed to, you know, kind of make it through, so not too horribly uncomfortable. So let me throw the helmet on one more time, give you guys a shot of the whole armor, and then we'll start to take this off and kind of show you how it is strapped together. For the Republic. I would like to have Qui-Gon as my master. Qui-Gon, I felt like really got it. So if I had to choose a master, it would be Qui-Gon. All right. Balaclava keeps you from getting extremely sweaty and wetty. The gloves, so these are Nomex flight gloves. Ooh. They're just a long flight glove, little leather, little cloth, and the hand pads are Velcroed on there. So that's just Velcro right there. For the Republic! Ooh, forearms. It kind of held in place with just a little bit of upholstery foam in there, but those literally just slide on. Both forearms do that. And for some reason, the right one is always tighter than the left one, which is what she said. Same thing, just a little bit of foam. So when you get to the elbows, you've got basically an armored strap on here that is rubber, and then I've got a little piece of elastic that holds that in place. So that is all that's holding that on, and holding it in place is a little piece of elastic. All right, so the next step, and this is the only thing that's really strapped on the top. Ooh. So I've got a little clip like so that's attached to my neck seal, and that clips in to a clip right there. Tom Cruise. I haven't gotten Tom Cruise. I get Ant-Man a lot. Paul Rudd. I get Paul Rudd a lot. So, yep. So this clips in right there. Got a little piece of elastic again to hold the shoulder belt down, and then the bicep is strapped to that. So that just slides on and stays in place like that. Oh, that's awesome. Darth Vader is a good costume. It's a good choice. Recognizable bad guy. I will probably be a clone or Mando. I typically set these panels out in front, play some Star Wars music. Oh, and then entertain the kids. And the dads tend to like it a lot too. So again, shoulder bells clipped on to a little clip like that. Clips in right here. And this is strapped. I mean, I can undo it, but it's strapped permanently, basically. A little bit of elastic there. So, ooh, Darth Vader, Indiana Jones. Two distinctly different choices, but both good costumes. Both good costumes. All right, so then you get to this piece here. This cost me probably somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 to build myself. So if you're looking to get one made, you're looking at, you know, $2,000 to three grand, no, without even an issue. All right, so this part here, I do this different than most people build this. Most people make this so it's a clamshell, and it opens right here at the seam. The costume requirement list, the CRL, only calls for a visible seam here. Doesn't say it has to open. Anytime, in my mind, that you add movement to something, you're just adding options for it to fail when you're on a troop. So I just made this all one piece, and it literally just slides over top of my abs and sits on it like that. So this is all one solid piece, and it sits down and just rests on these rubber shoulder pads, shoulder straps. Very light, much lighter than something that's going to be 3D printed. It's just, if you're building a, Thank you for the subscription, Life with Lincoln. I appreciate that. If you're building a suit like this, yeah, you can 3D print it. And I've got many friends who have 3D printed armor, but you're going to save yourself a whole lot of time, a whole lot of effort sanding. There's like zero sanding with this. You've got to trim the armor, put it together, and that's about it. So I would absolutely suggest anybody building a full set armor to do an ABS kit. All right, so when you get down here to the cod and the butt, in order to bend down and take off all the leg pieces, I've got to unattach the cod piece. So this has snaps on either side that snap in to a corresponding snap there, Velcro, that Velcro's underneath, and then two pieces here that Velcro underneath the belt there and there. So that gives me some movement with this, but it still makes it, you know, seem like it's all one solid piece. But then that enables me to be able to bend over to take off the leg pieces. So I'll show you first the little boot that we got here. So these are from a company that's called Keep Trooping. These are the Clone Trooper boots, the realistic Clone Trooper boots. Expensive. They were about 150 bucks for these, but again, I've had them for 3 years now, and they're still in really, really good condition. This weathering is what I did to them. I weathered them. So, Clone Trooper boots, again, 150. That's just the going rate. That's what it's going to cost you. So, those things get expensive. That's where like half the cost of these are in soft boots. All right. And you have the shin. So this is the hardest piece for folks to kind of wrap their head around when they're building realistic clone armor. So the clones in the movies were all 3D generated. There was not a suit built. The first person to build a clone suit was one of the 501st members. So this is what the clone shin looks like. Problem is unless you're double jointed, you cannot get your foot straight enough to go through that. So you have to do a pop-out spoon. So then you can get your foot in there, turn it around, and then you pop the spoon back in there. And it basically just sits on 3 tabs. I've got a tab here, a tab there, and then there's another tab underneath here. So you'll get that on, slide it in, clip it in place, and you have what appears to be one solid piece. So, shin spoon, that's the bane of every clone build's existence. Knees, very much like the elbows, fake armor strap, and then they are held in place simply by that. The shins, by the way, these just literally just sit on there. I've got a little bit of foam to kind of keep them in place, but no strapping at all with that. The only things that are strapped on the bottom are the thighs. I've got a belt that holds the thighs up and holds them in place. Get this other side off. All right. And the next seal, this is from a company called Dark Side Closet. This is the realistic clone neck seal. And again, I just glued these elastic clips there so I can strap the shoulder bells into that. The thighs, I'll take these off and kind of show you what we're working with here. The only thing that's really has any kind of strapping or harnessing on the bottom for me are the thighs. And there's a belt. It goes through a little thigh side strap, and that's what holds those up. Very simple. And then this whole upper piece is just harnessed on with 2 straps. That I created, and I just pull it on like a kind of one big piece. And again, the butt is also Velcroed in there. So the butt's Velcroed in the same way that the chest is, and the front and the back. The belt is already attached. So that is all one big piece that I hold harnessed together. And that's it. That's how it all goes together. The rest is just clone undies. You don't need to see the clone undies. Man, my hair is getting Anakin length. I'm getting Anakin-y. So that is it. That is it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please give me a like if you did. That really does help the algorithm know that people want to see this. And it will help me out in the long run. So thank you for being here, y'all. As always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews. Yeah, I've broken lots of costumes. Have I broken a costume? I busted my Mando in half. Had to re-glue that. This thing has, the clone armor has lasted much more than anything else that I've got without really having to do any kind of work on it. But there's constantly small little things that are happening. For example, like on this shoe, this snap that I put on there has come off, so I'm going to have to reattach that onto that. Little things happen all the time and break on these, but yeah. When I'm building them, I learn how to fix them, and that's why I would always suggest, rather than purchasing a costume, build it yourself, because you'll learn how to fix anything that breaks when you're doing it. So thank you for the sub, Rogue One. I do appreciate that. As always, y'all, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.